I genuinely think that one of the worst things to come from this new wave of anime tourists that enters the scene and then they just don't respect the medium at all, the fan base that already exists, or any of the mangaka and their works, are the people that will try to take scenes from the anime and push their political messaging, saying, this fictional character would agree with me. And a prime example of that happening is this clown right here, Think Before You Sleep, making this post saying, I spent a lot of time criticizing the show last year, but this scene is rapidly becoming more based over the past few months. And I'm not going to play the clip because it would be copyright, but it's a clip of Frieren in the dub version. The scene where she's been imprisoned and she's talking about how demons use words to manipulate people. Words are nothing more to demons but a way to get humans to let their guard down. And anybody who's watched the anime or read the manga remembers this scene and the flashback that she had as well, talking about the village that Himmel the hero went to the village with his party, and there was this one demon girl that Himmel the hero decided to spare. And Frieren warned him against it because she knew the true nature of demons. Well, Himmel decided that that demon should be spared, and then she started living with one of the families of that village, and then lo and behold, some time later, she ended up killing some people. And Frieren, who was orphaned when her own village was attacked by demons, she was proven right. The lesson was learned then by the village and the entire party that demons are not people, and even if they look similar enough and they can cry out for their mother, they don't get raised by their mothers, and they don't actually have emotions like people do. Their entire system of respect is based on who has more power, and they cannot be trusted, and they can never coexist. Now, if you've spent enough time on hellscapes like Twitter, you know that the politically motivated have used the story about demons and Frieren and related it to minorities and people with opposing political ideologies. And that's exactly what this tourist is doing here. He is taking the opportunity to relate this to left-wingers who were mocking the death of Charlie Kirk, which I think is in very poor taste to do that. And Charlie Kirk was somebody who was peaceful, he didn't advocate for violence against any groups, and he actually engaged in peaceful debate, and he wanted to open up to conversation about how things could be improved in the country and what's right and what's wrong and things like that. Now, there were definitely things that I disagreed with Kirk on and things that I agreed with him on, but I think that it was a horrible thing that he got assassinated just for speaking his mind and engaging in peaceful debate with people. And I think that most people understand that wherever they stand on the political spectrum, and they weren't celebrating his death. But of course, there were those people that were celebrating, and it's a terrible thing and a bad precedent to celebrate political violence. But the thing is, this guy who was a massive tourist, clearly hates anime and said it was a mistake, shouldn't really be bringing in an anime to justify his opinions on how evil people are for making fun of Charlie Kirk. It's not an issue that has anything to do with the show, and I've seen a lot of people using this scene from Frieren to say that demons represent left-wingers and minorities in the real world, and it's incredibly cringe. He says, tearless crying. I might have to take back the good things I said about Parker and Dean yesterday. Parker is very much not in the correct emotional state for someone who had a front row seat to an assassination for someone he is claiming to care about. There's also a secondary speech that Frieren gives in this arc about the arrogance of demons and how they can't help but boast about how much power they have. Yet her strategy is to hide how strong she is. I agree. Only an idiot would show their enemy what weapons they have. Just as a side note here, does anybody not think that it's very strange that this guy is rating how sorrowful these people seem about Charlie Kirk's passing? Like, they're clearly not celebrating it and they seem to be crying, but he's rating whether or not he feels like the crying is real and they're sad enough about it, as if this guy Charlie Kirk was their family or something. Now let's take a look at what this politically charged tourist clown has to say about Frieren. I am so tired of people saying that Frieren is a good show. It sucks. Are people so lost these days that they think a 5 out of 10 show has Breaking Bad levels of writing? Maybe not normies, but in the anime world, so many meh out of 10 shows get tons of attention and praise. How many episodes of that show are just nonsense filler? It had to be like 10 to 12. I get that not every episode has to drive the plot forward. Shows can be more episodic in nature, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where some of the most memorable episodes of that show are technically filler. Or an example of anime that does well is Cowboy Bebop. But in Frieren's case, getting a 3 to 5 act story with twists and turns, you get, hey, let's buy red-haired Zenitsu an oversized anime steak for his birthday. Oh, and that's another annoying thing about modern anime. Every character is a fucking archetype and not an actual character. It's so lazy. If I see another guy tilt his chin up and push up his glasses in a fight, I'm going to lose it. He'll go on to rant even more about how bad he thinks Frieren is, and I'll just go ahead and screenshot the entire post if you want to pause and read it. Ending it with TLDR, Frieren is garbage, stop giving shows like this so much praise. I'll wait for angry fans to not read my reasoning for why I hate the show, as they expect me to break down exactly why I don't like the entire show in 240 characters, followed by calling me an anime tourist because they are retarded and have horrible taste in shows. Except this moron is an anime tourist. This is also what he had to say about Frieren. This anime is not shonen, it's isekai. Every isekai MC starts out overpowered with the exception of ReZero. I understand Frieren is not technically isekai from a story standpoint, but it has all the same plot beats of I got transported to another world to defeat the demon lord. Also, it's not a tournament arc, it's an exam arc, and yes, I hate them because it's lazy and formulaic writing. I saw it in Naruto, I saw it in Demon Slayer, I saw it several times in My Hero Academia, I believe. I don't need to see it again in Frieren, particularly in a case where they copy the Naruto formula almost exactly. All of the plot points you mentioned could have been established in maybe 5 episodes. It didn't need 28. Of course, there is a space for shows to be episodic in nature. I did mention Avatar, but Avatar also makes sure its one-off episodes still have good storytelling. Frieren doesn't. They do random boring shit and the episode ends. It's a bunch of and then storytelling. And this tweet right here points out some of the other things that he said about anime. ReZero is so incel. The people who make this show know exactly who their audience is. These days, in a lot of shows, there isn't that much difference between anime and hentai. Hentai would be like hardcore porn, and isekai would be like Skinemax, but tons of the characters are children. And yes, I'm talking about the abundance of lolicon in anime and how it ruins the medium and how there is so much support for it that it's actually a risk to criticize it, especially for VTubers. Ah yes, something that's been in the medium since the beginning and involved in tons of works is actually ruining the medium, says the tourist anime watcher who actually hates anime, but I don't know, he talks about it, maybe because he wants the clout that comes from it. Here's another gem from Think Before You Sleep. Slice of life anime is garbage and appeals to people who have no work ethic or discipline. It's psychological poison. It's like how isekai power fantasies are specifically designed to appeal to incels. Let's look at some more tweets from this guy. We're really finding out how much he loves anime and the medium. Referencing the reincarnated as a slime anime, he says, girl's dying wish in this show is to be vored by a slime. Tell me again how isekai anime isn't just hentai. Referring to Oshinoko. Cool, another popular anime series where the MC is a pedophile. A tweet where he says, if lolicon is not because the characters aren't real, then I'm not gay if I jack off to yaoi because the characters aren't real. I wonder if he's trying to tell us something there. And then the magnum opus of his Cole posting, a quote tweet of a gimmick account called Delusional Takes that tries to talk about anime sometimes and they get ratioed every single time by anime fans. And Think Before You Sleep says, anime was a mistake. Cancel all anime. This is not like a quirky translation. It actually says that in Japanese with a girl on the cover who looks like she is 11. In conclusion, this guy is a retard. He's not an anime fan, and I don't think that his opinions on anime at all matter, especially when he's trying to use an anime like Frieren to further his political ideology. Again, I don't really care much when people start watching anime, when they decide to enter the space, but it's one thing when they're just watching anime and enjoying the hobby, enjoying the medium and respecting it, and another thing when they enter and think that it should change to appeal to them and what they like instead of just continuing on the way that it is, and they can go find something that they like and stay away from the stuff that they don't like. When these tourists try to enter and then say, this is problematic, I don't like that this thing is the way that it is, and they don't understand that a lot of these things have been that way since the beginning of the medium. They try to apply their own morality system and hate on anime fans who enjoy certain tropes, styles, whatever it is. That's when anime fans need to gatekeep. We don't need to take these kinds of people seriously when they just ramble on about how terrible anime is, how it's all actually some kind of hentai. I don't really care when people start watching anime either. It's really all about them entering and respecting the medium rather than being a tourist clown like this guy who will hate on a show, mischaracterize it as an isekai because he doesn't know what the f he's talking about, try to create problems that don't exist, try to say that tropes that have been in the scene for decades are actually problematic and destroying the medium, and then when he gets called out for it, he just calls people incels and predators. But when it suits him, he'll go and take a scene from an anime and use it to further his own political ideology, which is just gross, and these are the exact types that need to be gatekept from the community because nobody wants this brain rot. The anime scene needs more people who actually like anime and less tourists like this, who are only talking about it because it's the popular thing to do now.